I had the option to take a one-year world cruise, but I didn't. My name's Gary Dean. I'm your Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler. I did 34 cruises and drove all 48 states and 10 provinces over the course of 43 months. Did a lot of travel, saw a lot of stuff. Hope you'll follow and check out all my videos. Now, the $100,000 world cruise, and that's a rough number. I never really did call them. I just Googled and checked it out. It was by Royal Caribbean. And you could buy, I think it was broken up into 4 segments. So you could do all of it for better, the more segments you did, the better the price. I think it's 100,000, but that might have been for double occupancy. I was solo, so not sure how the math would all worked out. The downside to me, so the good side of it is you save a lot of money on flights and hotels and a lot of hassle getting to the different cities to get on and off the ships and do all that, because I wanted to see the world by cruise ship, right? And that would have been an option. I think if you get my goal and you want to do it, I hope you buy one of my blue hats. If you're gonna, you'll see that in the merchandise, on YouTube for sale. Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler. But if you're planning on doing what I did, you might want to consider that. Now, could I have done a whole year away? Would have been a little bit of planning to figure that out. Could I? The other problem was, I don't think they're going to let you make payments, but maybe they are, I don't know, but otherwise I'd have to come up with $100,000. If there's 2 of you, maybe it's 200,000 cash, unless they let you pay by segment. I'm not sure, but since it's a deal on the segments, they probably want it all at once. Anyways, you can definitely, I would recommend talking to them, checking it all out. They're a little lean on the information. They want you to call them so they can, there's things to explain, I guess, how it all works and what it does. From what I gathered, they offer you free internet and laundry. I don't know how much internet. I don't imagine it's unlimited, but maybe it's bundled in there for that price. I'm not even sure. A cruise line, you're looking around for 2 people around $300 a day, which would be $100,000 for 2, 130, 140, something like that. So maybe $100,000 is the discount. Maybe that is for 2. I'm just not sure. You'd have to check it all out. I didn't because it just wasn't feasible for me. I already had, when I started I went to the Cruise Next presentation, I found out, you can cruise the world by cruise ship. I was excited to try it. And then I ended up, I already had some trips planned, so I had to figure some of that out. I couldn't just do it. You know what I mean? And I had already started, so I would have been repeating some stuff. I had booked 5. I went to the Cruise Next presentation. I immediately, the NCL had phoned me already. I had already booked a few trips, and then I booked right away some more cruises. So I had immediately about 15 or 16 cruises booked. Now, why did I do that? Because when people said, we're going to do this in May, I would say, well, let me check my calendar. Actually, I'm booked on a cruise. I can't go. Sorry. Wish I could. Can't be there. I'm away on vacation. So that's kind of why I booked ahead. I wanted, because at the beginning, I did a cruise in November out of Florida, and I had booked with my sister and mother to do a Las Vegas thing in November. So I got off that ship. I could have stayed on that ship and done more of the Caribbean, saved a lot of money, but I'd already made arrangements to be in Vegas with them like a year before. So I wasn't just going to bail on them. So boom, I flew back to Vegas, and things like that. And then, where I live, it can snow. So in the wintertime, I didn't really want to come back here. So I would stay, away. And so that was more free time I could cruise, but I had other obligations. I had a girlfriend at the time, so I had things we were going to do and whatnot. So I couldn't just pick up and go for a year. So it wasn't, and if I could have planned, okay, well, maybe next year I'll do it for a whole year. I didn't really want to because I'd already done some cruises, so I'd already saw some things. And also, maybe by then I might lose my enthusiasm or my plans might change. We saw that with the pandemic, plans can change instantly. Health-wise, I've known people that just, bam, can't do things anymore. So health can happen. So I had the money, I had the health, I had the time. As long as I had internet, I could do it. So I did it my way, which was painful. I would never do it again. No. Too many airlines, too many hotels, 34 cruises. Some of them were back to back, but let's say 27 or so. So that's 27 flights to a place to get on a ship, 27 flights to get back from a ship. Mixing that with my living in Asia, my business is in Canada. So I'm coming and going. A lot of flying, a lot of hotels, a lot of jet lag, a lot of time zones. So yeah, would I do it again? Never would I do it like that again. But I wanted to do it while I could. Health-wise mainly. financially too, things can change, quickly. And I'm have my own business, so things could have changed. They never did, but they could have gone bad, and then got to keep what I got. I can't afford to travel, so that could have been a thing that came up too. So I did it while I had the health and the money, and I did it that way so that I set a goal. 2.5 years took me 3.5. So because of some of the pre-existing arrangements that I had already said I would be in certain places, I couldn't get on a cruise ship and go. It was a family reunion one summer, so I missed a lot of Europe that year, things like that. So, and then also, how much of Europe can you see in one summer? There's only so many months and so many ships, and you're pretty much going to have to go back and do it a second season and things like that. So, but if you're thinking of doing what I did, definitely look into the the around the world. I know Royal Caribbean back when in 2022 or 2023 when I looked at it, they were doing it. I don't know what they're doing in 2026. Now, what would be another downside to that? Being on the same ship all the time. Big downside. My longest stint on a ship now has been 31 days. I just did 31 days on the NCL Jade, which is a nice enough ship. But yeah, 31 days, same food, it changes, but it repeats after a few days or whatever. There's only so many different dishes of food. The shows are the same. So if you've seen it, you're going to see it again, which I didn't want to. I don't even want to see the same port again, half yet see the same show again. The shows are wonderful the first time, but second time, nah, I'm not that big of a fan. I saw some people that, just love Broadway shows, so they were there and excited, and I'm happy for them. The only place I was excited to see the second time was Bora Bora on a cruise ship. I can say Vegas, I can do Vegas because different shows in town, different restaurants, Vegas is just lots to do. That's the only place I can think of, though. Los Angeles, New York City, I've been to all those places, and Central Park once for me is enough. I'm going to say that in Times Square, LA, Santa Monica Pier, Hollywood, go see the red carpet show and the Chinese theater and that stuff, at Venice Beach. Seen it, you've seen it. So, same ship, boring, and 1 year on the same ship, the one good, and then same crew. So now you're starting to be friendly with the crew. You see them all the time. It gets kind of tiring because they seem original, but they have their spiel and their shtick, and they're acting. They're doing their thing, and they're entertainers. They get paid to do that, to be nice, right? And that's how they do it. And so it gets a little bit fake after a while. Nothing against it. They're hustling for tips and doing their thing. So I'm all good with it. But yeah. After 31 days, hearing the same songs sung at the buffet, coffee, happy, and washy, and all that gets so tiring. But yeah, now. Yeah, laundry. It's nice to get off there and get a good laundry thing going on. You know what I mean? Like they do good on the ship, but it's pretty small portions there. You're not gonna get the laundry bag isn't huge, and it's getting smaller by the year. So NCL bag is now half of what it was 3 years ago. I'll say that. I think just charge more money. To go down to half the size of the bag is just sad. It's just you can't get hardly anything in there. But yeah, if doing your laundry, internet, that's a little bit tough around the world. I've had a lot of blank spots, things like that. And then, if you're a lot of days between ports, a lot of sea days, it gets tough to keep in touch with if you're still working a bit, or, now a lot of remote workers, like I've always been 20 years now. I've run my company from anywhere that has internet, but I need internet. And, some days you couldn't get any out there, and that made life a little bit tough, a little bit stressful. And that can be weather related or just is situational. There is just not internet provided here, and that's what it is. So. And then, yeah, the good thing is the crew would rotate off, every 4 or 5 months. Used to be every 3, I think, but now they're getting to be 6, 8 months. Like, yeah, you could do that almost that whole year with the same people, which would be quite a bit. Especially a room steward that you see 2-3 times a day in the hallway and at your door and around your door and cleaning. Nice to switch that out too. Lucky this 31-day one, my room cleaner changed at the halfway mark. So they said they were going up to do a different floor, and somebody new would come. And that's great. Here's your tip. Thanks for the 15 days. And somebody new for the next 16. And yeah, so it was good. I could not do a year on a ship, I don't think. Even if it was my own, I would get tired. I would want to be on land. I would want to be, in a nice hotel and not rock. And, the ship can be a little bouncy. It can be a little, and the go, actually, now that I think about it, would be a little bit much. Especially you start doing the Caribbean, you got 8 days and you got 6 ports, 7 ports. Every day you're on the go. You know, you're up, you're getting your food, you're trying to figure out your tour, you're getting on your tour, you're getting out there doing that, go, 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 go. You get back, you got a show that night and repeat, you know, and it's after 6-7 days gets to be a lot. So I'm just doing this video just so you know there's options. Check it out. If you're considering doing a lot of cruising, and like I said, I think you can do it in like 4, you don't have to do the whole world. You could just do, okay, I'm going to do Europe this segment, or I'm going to do Asia, or, you know, they break it into different pieces. So yeah, check it out. Royal Caribbean was doing it. Maybe other ones are now. And that's a way to go. I was NCL, but if I would have done it, sure, Royal Caribbean, they got nice ships, I'm sure. Okay, hope you're doing good. Blue Hat, cheers.